today. Today I have actually a guest that's special to my heart. Two guests that are special to my heart. These are people that in the beginning of me starting my speaking journey, some of my earliest interviews, they were there giving me support and allowing me to have a great interview because a great interview is easy with great guests. I'm joined by, I want to make sure I have your organizations as well all prepared. I'm joined by a Mr. Stan Martin and a Mrs. Amanda Hucksoll. Mr. Stan Martin is the founder and CEO of Stan Martin Consulting LLC. Miss Amanda Hucksoll is the program manager of Reality Check of Erie and Niagara. They're talking about menthol-flavored tobacco. It's an issue in our communities. It's been an issue in our communities, and I want to give you guys a chance to first just say how you guys are doing. I know we're coming in kind of quickly, so
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone out there listening. It is a marvelous Monday. My name is Amanda Hucksoll, and I am the Reality Check Program Manager for Tobacco Free Erie and Niagara, a project of CAI.
Yes, thank you, Amanda, and good morning, Buffalo, and thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here, and congratulations to you. I've been following you. You've been doing some, wonderful interviews, and just really educating the community on some important topics, that impact our health and our wealth. So it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you once again for allowing us this opportunity to, share some information that we think is very vital to the health and wellness of the city of Buffalo.
Absolutely. If you're someone who's listening, not only if you want to get involved, you can call in at 716-837-1112. But if you're someone listening, you want to get another chance, another taste of what we're talking about today. There's another interview in the past that's full of great information. And I kind of almost want to start at the end of that interview. Can you guys give us an update on the current fight, the current situation, the current stance of menthol flavored products in Buffalo and how they're currently affecting our communities, maybe differently than how they were a couple months ago?
Well, great question, great intro. Let me just start with, picture this, over early on in the early 50s, less than 10% of African Americans or those who identify with the Black diaspora who smoked cigarettes or smoked tobacco used menthol. Fast forward to today, all right, 85% of African Americans or those who identify with the Black diaspora smoke menthol tobacco. And that's not by accident. So fast forward to where we are right now, we're really, raising awareness about how our culture, has been, exploited, how the appropriations of the tobacco industry has really harmed generations for over 6 decades. So what we've done over the period of time since we have last met, we've met with other advocates across the country. We work very closely with the Public Health Law Center to really develop a ordinance that will actually remove menthol tobacco from the shelves in the city of Buffalo.
Oh wow! So we're moving along.
We're moving forward. Yes, we're taking action. Ain't all talk. This is action right here.
And for the listeners listening, I always ask the question, why would this be important to me? I think if I'm someone listening who doesn't smoke, I think this is so important because this is money, right? This is resources, right? Every dollar, let's say $1.50. Let's say you're buying just some wraps, so you're buying every time you purchase, that's money out of your pockets that can be used in our communities. And when money stays in our pockets, it can be used for advancing. So issues like this, anything distracting or taking your mind off of the goal you want to get to or the goal of community advancements is a hindrance. And so this issue specifically, attacking this issue specifically that's plaguing our communities is so important. So can you talk more about this ordinance to remove menthol products and how that would look kind of placed in the modern structure right now?
In the modern structure, another great question in terms of what the ordinance really at the heart of it, it gets at removing menthol from and the sale of menthol at the manufacturer level and at the retail level. And what we've are familiar with, what we've known, which is out of the tobacco industry playbook, what they're going to try and do, they're going to try and do some fear mongering. They're going to use some scare tactics to say, oh, well, this is going to criminalize possession. No, it's not that. Let me be real clear about that. This is not about possession or of menthol tobacco whatsoever. They're going to say that, well, what about policing? This is going to be like really give the police another chance, an opportunity to harass Black folks or people of color. This isn't about that. Certainly, there's been some gaslighting surrounding this issue, right, by the tobacco industry provocateurs. But the ordinance that we have proposed, and that's been also modeled in Boston, Massachusetts, has been modeled in California, in Canada, and the UK. It addresses all of those issues and it removes those issues from there. So in terms of, to your earlier question, tobacco is an addiction. All right. And you look at the lives that can be saved, as a result of if we remove menthol tobacco from the shelves, it will save over research. It will save over 650,000 lives within 40 years. And within 5 years, it's going to reduce the disparities, in particular with black and African Americans. Within 5 years, you will see the disparities diminish between lung cancer rates and between racial ethnicity. So it has a tremendous benefit, and not to talk about the money that's saved.
Absolutely. And I think I know a couple people individually on my own who smoke menthol products who are used to that. And so I know you talked about issues or people's ability to get their mind around it, right? Government moves slow because people change slow. People are creatures of habit, right? I like going to the same store. I'm not going to mix it up unless it's busy. I don't want to mix it up. That's uncomfortable. And so for the people that are used to menthol, how does this affect them with the ordinance being placed upon it? And um, how can they get their mind around this change as well?
Yeah, so great question. And I think what we really, at the end goal, we look at providing support for people who are going to need cessation and nicotine replacement therapy. So when we look at the systems in place that are in a community to help us thrive, to help us do well and excel, we need to have things in place to help people. Like cessation, like clinics to offer mental health programs. Also, I just really want to highlight that this isn't just going to be affecting the people that smoke, but when we look at the next generation who are starting to be addicted to nicotine, not in the combustible tobacco or menthol cigarettes, but now it's the e-cigarettes. So really trying to work with the next generation, so teenagers, children, to really get the information out that even though we think of menthol as a flavor and we think of Newport, we think of cool. But when we look at the current landscape of what's going on with youth and young adults, it's e-cigarettes, right? It's the Elf Bar, it's Hyde, and all of those most likely have menthol in it. So what the industry has done is really kind of evolutionize the way that they look at menthol to addict the next generation. So using different flavors like Miami mint and strawberry, raspberry, cherry ice, pineapple, coconut ice, all of those flavors are initiating menthol use among young people. And so we not only have to look at the systems and the things that are in place, and that takes working with other partners in the community, right? Roswell's in our backyard. They are home to the Quit Line. So working with them, but also really making sure that we're working alongside the community to hear what they need and not just come out thinking that we already know the solutions or we know the answers, because we know truly the community has the answers of what they're going to need and what that's going to look like for them.
Yeah, and one of the things I might just add that, quite simply and putting it like straightforward, no chaser, menthol is the poison, that attracts and addicts, people, and the tobacco industry have studied our culture. They have studied our people. All right. Menthol isn't a black thing. We've invented many things, but menthol wasn't one of them. You know what I'm saying? So what the tobacco industry has done intentionally was to market and to normalize menthol tobacco in our community. All right. When used as intended, will kill people. All right. Period. All right. So when you look at that, it's number one cause of preventable deaths. The number one cause. And we might smoke less, but we die more. And I said we as African Americans or those identified with the Black diaspora. And when I say die more, look at heart disease, look at lung cancer, look at other chronic disease, other illnesses, diabetes. This has got to stop. This has got to stop. And it's time, as you mentioned, it's the wheels of justice move slowly, especially for African Americans, for Black people, and those who are marginalized. It moves real slow. So, all right. So we cannot wait for others to come in and save ourselves or save our community. We have to do it for ourselves. And that's what this is all about. Not sitting back, waiting for the Biden administration or the FDA. All right. They had a chance to do this years ago in 2009, 2006, what have you. All right. We can no longer wait because our children, our people are dying every day. 45,000 African Americans die every year as a result of menthol tobacco use. Every year. They had a chance to remove menthol from the shelves back in 2009. Imagine, fast forward 14 years later, how many lives have been lost as a result? So as Amanda was saying, we cannot allow this to continue and allow them to continually, promote a product when used as intended will kill you and will addict the next generation, all right, of replacement smokers. And that's our children, that's our youth.
Absolutely. And that's 45,000 a year of people who, those doctors, those are entrepreneurs, those are contractors, those are pilots, those are people that are useful in the community because every life is important. And I think sometimes it could just be on a statistic, right? You hear 45,000, you're not thinking about it. What would $45,000 do if it was in your hand right now? That'll do a lot for you. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people every year.
And we have to ask ourselves, what is the price of a Black life? Ask yourself, what is the price? You know what I'm saying? Of your mom, your dad, your child, you yourself. What is the price? For me, there is no price. So when the tobacco industry come in with their dollars, because they know that we're so close to moving this ordinance forward across the finish line, it's 1st and 10 for our football fans, 1st and goal. All right. That's why you're hearing a lot of these provocateurs coming out and saying this isn't good for Black health. This isn't good for the community. All of this gaslighting, all of this fear mongering, all of this scare tactics. They've done this historically. Look at history, all right, to our community for years. Nah, time out for that. Period. Time out for that. It's time to make a change, do something different for real, for real.
And people are ready. Like, I really just want to keep going off of that, stand that passion. People are ready to see this change. And I want to give a huge shout out to Tapestry High School, Health Science Charter School, because the staff and the students there are truly involved in this movement. And even for younger people who may, cigarettes kind of are an older thing for younger generations. But when we unfold the marketing tactics and really just I don't even know the word, the disgusting ways that they operate, right? Their motto, their business agenda. Nobody likes feeling targeted. Nobody likes feeling one-upped or anything. So when we really sit down and I'm with the students in those spaces and we unfold, the different layers of how they market and the ways that they, again, try to throw money to cover everything that they do, people are ready to see them being held accountable. And so I really, really am excited moving forward to continue working with the students and to stand alongside them to let their voices be heard loud and clear that, enough is enough. Our neighborhoods do not need to be oversaturated with smoke shops and stores and advertisements, even the litter on the ground. And so enough is enough, like Stan had said, and the community is ready. There is community will, and regardless of the other entities that be, we as a community, we are moving and we're not going to stop.
All right. As Amanda said, certainly there's community will in terms of whether it's faith leaders, Pastor Nicholas and the Buffalo Center of Health Equity, our civic leaders in terms of NAACP, Reverend Mark Blue, Kaiser Pointer, the Poverty Reduction Committee, and others, a host of others. And I want to give a special shout out because, yes, we have that we're addressing the social determinants of health. And we also have to address the political determinants of health. Mm-hmm. And I'm very proud and I'm honored to say that, Councilmember Rasheed Wyatt, has taken a stance to say, yo, you know what, I'm going to champion this, because I believe this is the right thing to do. So I want to give a shout out, to Councilman Wyatt as well, because it's not, yes, individual change is important, and the community, the environment change has to support the individual change that's necessary in order to thrive, not just survive, but to thrive. So those things have to work in concert with one another if you fully want to understand population health. All right. Yeah, each one teach one. Yes, that's important. But information alone doesn't change behavior. Okay. The environment has to change to support the behavior change and necessary in order for it to succeed and be successful.
Because the political landscape, this is only allowed because of the political landscape that we've allowed, right? You couldn't be doing this if it was illegal, right? There has to be systematic things in place, like you talked about, to allow this to happen. And I think one thing that you talked about in the last interview, you said a quote, and I don't remember the quote word for word, but to summarize it, would you let your kids go to a school if the principal wouldn't let their kids go to it? Would you trust that as a school? Because if the companies that are making cigarettes don't smoke them, they say that they're people that are dumb, inferior, less than. Why would you smoke? And you got to ask yourself: is the comfort of that cigarette or the fear of not having it enough to make you comfortable selling your kids to an industry?
Right. And this is what the industry said when they were asked. Tobacco executive was asked, "Do you smoke?" And, they said, "No, we don't smoke that. We reserve that right for the young, the black, the poor, and the stupid." And I've heard that 20 years ago. And for those out there listening, all you got to do is do the research. Everything we've shared, it can be fact checked. Okay, it can be fact checked. So when I heard that and the fire and the passion that you hear in my voice right now, all right, I heard that message 20 years ago, and that's why I'm in this fight, because of that right there. You know, because my people aren't dumb, my people aren't stupid. All right, and I refuse to allow my children and your children and your children to be the next generation, and all of those listeners out there to be the next generation of replacement smokers. Not on my watch.
And we can't forget the other quote that they have been notoriously known for saying is today's teenager is tomorrow's potential customer. So, you know, again, just myself, the work that I do focused on working alongside the students and youth, children, young adults, as well as our community, but really for the young people of our city, it's like, what can we do to say, hold up, you know, I'm not a potential nothing, you know, I'm working to be whatever it is that I want to be, whether it's an educator, a contractor, you know, whatever professional avenue you want to go in, being just a replacement smoker or being a potential customer, that isn't okay. That isn't okay. It doesn't sit right with me, because these students that I have the pleasure working with are so much more than just what the industry sees. And they know it, we know it, our community knows it. And it's about time that, you know, everybody else above us hears that and does something, not just hears it, right? Not just takes it in, you know, gets the education, but does something about it. And again, really shout out to Councilmember Wyatt, because doing the right thing, right, is oftentimes it's hard and it's complicated, and there's pulls from external forces. We talk about the industry coming in and trying to dismantle and disrupt everything that we're doing here locally. But he is leading by example. And I think that is so important for the younger generations to look up to somebody at the local government and say, hey, this person is fighting for me, for my people, for our community. And I think that is a wonderful thing.
I think we might have a caller calling in, but I'm going to talk about the future, right? Looking forward, next steps. Before I get to that point, I think we can sit in our chairs sometimes because, like you said, I think subconsciously a lot of people in our community think we have time, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm just a smoker. Can you guys touch on how fast tobacco, menthol, and those products can take over a generation?
Oh, wow. I mean, just look at the previous example that I gave. You know, in in the early 50s, less than 10% smoke. All right, tobacco. All right. Fast forward to today, more than 85% of those who smoke, in terms of African Americans, smoke menthol tobacco, and it has been normalized in our culture that this is a black thing. You know what I'm saying? Cools, Newports, or what have you. Oh, that's the black cigarette, or what have you. No. You know what I'm saying? No, it's time out for that. You know, so that the tobacco industry, the system is designed to do exactly what it's supposed to do, or what it was built to do. All right. That is to addict the next generation. Any drug dealer, all right, I'm just gonna keep it real. Any drug dealer or drug trafficker, they have to, you know, like get a new replace those who can no longer smoke, or those who no longer use whatever product of choice that is. The tobacco industry is the same type of drug dealer. And they've been charged as being a RICO. They got charged with the RICO statute, for those who don't remember. Okay, who don't know, in terms of racketeering. So, and that's what they are. And that's what they do.
A systemic ability to push the drugs upon us, and that's dangerous. And I think it's so dangerous. We have a caller calling in to weigh in. Caller, you are on the caller. You are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm calling in on your convo with Amanda. I'm loving this, and I appreciate you guys spreading the awareness. And I just wanted to say hey and keep it up.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam.
I'm all the way from Rochester, so I'm listening.
Well,
Oh, well, thank you.
that means a lot.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think
Go ahead.
one of the things I want to because I know I get passionate, and I get hype about this. So I just want to make sure those who are listening, I want to say this: we are not against those who utilize tobacco. We are not against those who smoke, or against those, or either those who vape. What we are against is the tobacco industry intentionally marketing and targeting our community with a deadly product when used as intended kills people. Okay, we recognize that tobacco is an addiction, and it's hard to quit. Okay, and the tobacco industry know that. They know that, and that's why they created menthol to make the poison go down smoother, to make it easier to start and harder to quit. And if you do need assistance quitting, Amanda mentioned, the Roswell Park. Please call the quit line. I know some of you, it may take multiple attempts. You may try it once, you may try to quit twice, or what have you. It takes 7 to 9 times for the average smoker, all right, to quit successfully. They have support for you. They have resources for you. Not everyone can quit cold turkey. And we have the Great American Smokeout coming up real soon, November 16th. Maybe Amanda, if you want to, talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely. So the Great American Smokeout, it's an annual observation day that really works to support those who do smoke and encourage them to try to make a quit attempt on that day and to see how long they could take it. Progress is progress, whether it's a day, 2 days, 3 months, but really working alongside the community and being a resource for those who may want to stop smoking. So myself and my colleague, Rashawn Smalls, we are hosting an event on November 15th at the Delvin Grider. We will be having a special speaker come out to talk to us about cessation through a more holistic, natural approach. A Dr. Dennis Daniels from UB will be there to speak kind of about different ways to look at what cessation is and, all of the modernization, the evolution. We're finding out new methods and more natural methods, right? Versus the Western medicine. So if you are, really interested in learning more about what that might look like when it comes to natural and holistic cessation, please come out. Again, that is November 15th at 5:30 at the Delvin Grider Center. We will also have one of our colleagues through Roswell. Her name is Shannon Waddell Collins. She works specifically on cessation and nicotine replacement therapy. So she will also be there to give her expertise, share knowledge and resources about, what a quit journey looks like or what goes into that. So really, really excited for that event. We'll have food. It's free, open to all. Really, really hope to see everybody there who's listening.
And that's one day. I know this is an ongoing journey. We have November 15th now, but are there any other dates that we need to keep an eye out or events we need to be at to support you guys on
Absolutely.
this mission to help our community?
That's the 15th. Then also on November 16th from 10 a.m. to 10:30, we'll be hosting a press conference at Health Science Charter School. I'm working very closely with Mr. Baxter over there and Isaiah Gary specifically, and the students there at Health Science, because they're involved in this equity issue.
Right.
They're involved in terms of reducing health disparities. So we'll be hosting a Great American Smokeout that day at Health Science Charter School. And then I believe it's on the 24th of November. We'll be back in the council chambers, having this discussion in terms of moving the ordinance forward. The menthol ban ordinance forward. And that's at 2 p.m. The Community Development Committee. So that's on the 24th. So those are some important dates to put on your calendar and come out and support us. Come out. Hey, if you have questions, come out and ask questions. We welcome the dialogue. We welcome the conversation because really the tobacco industry wants to keep our community divided. They want to be divisive. They want to be polarizing. Nah, this ain't what this is about. Let's have the conversation. I just want to wrap up real quickly with one final thing, and that is I just want to make it clear. We're talking about commercial tobacco. Okay, I want to make that clear. We're talking about tobacco that has been with additives, with different other ingredients, other cancerous, chemicals, and etc. We're not talking about traditional Native American tobacco that utilized for ceremonial purposes. This is specifically about commercial tobacco.
Right, and like you said, it's not about being against smokers. If you're going to smoke, that's fine. But smoke in a way that only you smoke, you're not impacting future generations and the community at large. So I want to say, I know we're leaving out. We got to always get you guys back because this is an issue that's important and needs to stay in the forefront of our minds. But thank you guys for coming down today. I hope that I was able to help you guys articulate what you got, the goal of what you're here for. Remember, 15th, 16th, and the 24th. Be sure to mark a date in your calendars to continue this fight. And thank you guys for helping our communities even when we don't want to be helped.
And just to call that quit line, if you need help, 1-866-697-8487, 1-866-697-8487, or 1-866-NY-QUITS. That's the number to the New York State Smokers Quit Line if you need assistance.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
A little faster paced than the hour one, but hopefully, like I said, hopefully I was able to help you guys get your point.